Plenty Valley FM presents Sig's Flicks.
Right, we are on air with Sig Anderson. Back to that movie world. How are you, Sig?
I'm good. Having a wonderful time over here in Adelaide, actually. We're in the Adelaide Cabaret Festival, and there's several incredible cabaret shows of different caliber and different qualities we're finding. It's quite interesting over Adelaide. You been over here recently?
No, I have not been over to Adelaide at all. But I do know, I think you're half an hour out of our time zone, aren't you, or something like that?
Yes, we're half an hour out. It's funny you should mention it. I just got caught out. You're ringing a half hour earlier, but that's fine. Several shows. Several good shows over here. However, we're talking about films on Sig's Flicks, as you know. And at the moment now, I would like to go over, as I've mentioned earlier in previous Sig's Flicks in previous weeks. Today we have a special on the Spanish Film Festival, Hola Español. And we're running, coming up now from this Thursday right through to, it's a good run. These film festivals, they go right through to July 5. So there's several weeks for you to see all these various Spanish language films, not necessarily all from Spain, and they're showing at various locations all around Melbourne, usually the Palace Cinemas. And if you want to check them out, you will be able to see them, I am sure, at the Astor and at the Palace Brighton and at the Palace Palace Baldwin and the Brighton Bay Cinema and the Como down in South Yarra and the Pentridge Prison. Many people don't know that there's a new Palace Film Complex in the old Pentridge Prison, which has been totally redeveloped, and it's a really nice facility down there. If people haven't been down there, check it out. They won't lock you up. They'll definitely let you out. It's quite a development. And also the West Garth Palace, so there's several locations screening right through from this Thursday, once again, through to July 5. But there are several sections in the Spanish Film Festival. We've got a focus this time on female filmmakers, which should be good if you want to check out some of those. Lots of female directors. And there's also, of course, as you can imagine, the headline section on new Spanish cinemas, films from in the Spanish language in several areas. There's also cinema italiano, Latino from Latin countries, and we've got a spotlight actually on Argentina, on several films there, and you can see so many there. So lots of films to check out, lots of things for you to be able to see, and you can check them out, as I have many. But let's have a little look at some of the ones that you may be interested in. For example, I'd like to tell you about a film called Cork. And this is a nice film which you might want to see in many languages, like in Spanish, Catalan, French, Arabic, and all with English subtitles, of course. And this one's from Spain. And we have a newlywed couple about to have their first child, and they've inherited an old stone farmhouse with a 120-acre cork forest, which the woman has inherited from her aunt. And they leave Barcelona up to the country to check this place out. And they're both architects, actually. They got plans for this farmhouse to renovate it and get a bit of a cork business provided, although they know nothing about cork. But they're prepared to learn, and they want to get down there and have a little bit of fun with this and make it their business. And as they set out to get things going, there's a little bit of a conflict there with some of the local laborers that help them out harvesting the cork. And there's a little bit of a conflict between the couple as they plan things and have a few disagreements, as you can imagine, and it gets a little bit difficult. Some of the things they believe in are called into question, and their nice, wonderful early marriage relationship is called into question a little bit on some of the things. It's an interesting aspect of some of the interesting things that they work out with the local laborers, and some of them are Moorish, some of them are not locals. There's a little bit of racism involved between some of them, and there's some old salts that have been there for a while, and some new people that have come to work there and from different countries, and they're just itinerant laborers that come in, and the husband tries to go in there and work with them, and as they say, it's not necessary for you to be here, sir. And he said, well, he wants to learn about the business, go over things.
Yes, definitely.
What happens. I remember going to Portugal, actually, next door, and seeing cork trees. I did not realize cork was actually the bark on some of these trees, and the cork industry fell to the bottom, actually, when wine went across the screw tops many years ago, so there's not much market for cork nowadays, but still it goes through there. And it's quite interesting the way they go through this. The director had made this film calling on his own experiences in the cork plantation in Catalonia, and this is Michael Gurier's actual debut film. It's his first one, and it's interesting showing for things the way they go there. So once again, that one is called Cork, Suro, cork in Spanish, and you might want to check that one out at the soon-to-start Spanish Film Festival. And another one you might want to check out, I thought this was a fascinating film. It's called Greg Mortimer, and this is a documentary. Now, I sometimes lose a little bit of interest in documentaries because there's so many talking heads, and they don't have much else involved, and you can only talk so much before you lose a bit of interest. But this one holds your interest, and it is absolutely fascinating. It's just a horrific story from Federico Lemos, and it's an account of what happened aboard the Greg Mortimer cruise ship back in 2020. And you may remember that one, when they left for a tour of Antarctica, and they got caught at the very beginning of the COVID outbreak, and they got caught with the COVID outbreak on the ship, and they weren't allowed to dock anywhere, and the people weren't allowed off, and it was a horror story for the people signed up for this trip from southern Chile, from the very tip where the cruise ships usually embark to go into Antarctica. Back in those days, in early 20s, we didn't know too much about COVID, that it was just starting, and many cruise ships and tours were canceled and didn't go. When this one decided to go ahead, people weren't sure whether they should or not, but the powers that be decided, actually, we'll go ahead with this one, and leave from Ushuaia down to the very bottom of Argentina, and the tip of South America almost, and they eventually got really held off. They became persona non grata in many countries and couldn't go off. And in the end, Uruguay looked after them and showed a lot of compassion, and they were able to disembark and have flights back to their home country, and particularly Australia, with many Australian tourists. So it's incredible the way things happen. They thought they might be safe on this boat because the thing was going, but of course, only takes one case, and it was all over the ship in not a lot of time. They isolate in your cabins, but still on a cruise ship, you can't escape it. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So, they were stranded in the ocean, and they couldn't go anywhere until Uruguay showed a lot of compassion. There was a lot of interest in, or information about this, about the big-heartedness and the compassion of the Uruguayan people, which is unusual, and they were so thankful for that and the way it happened. And they had Australians and New Zealanders, Americans, and Europeans on this ship, and 75% of the crew actually had it in the end, and the passengers and crew. They picked several people on to interview on this, and there's one particular woman and one crew member was very well spoken and quite good and informative and quite specific about what they were saying and well spoken, and it was very good that they picked these people out. They were able to say there were talking heads on this one, as I said, to go over a few of them, but they spoke very well. So that one, once again, is called Greg Mortimer, and it's an 80-minute documentary, and it's highly recommended at the Spanish Film Festival starting from this Thursday. And you want to check that one out because I think it was very good.
See?
Okay, we've got a few minutes for the last one here, and this one's called A Singular Crime, and this is called Una Crema Argentina. And this one is meant to be a gripping thriller. I didn't find it particularly gripping, actually. Based on true events, so many films are based on true events, inverted quotes. And this is from the best-selling novel by Reinaldo Sestacais. And this is an incredible cast, a Argentine cast from various people. But actually, in 1980, during a military dictatorship in Argentina, a businessman disappears in the city of Rosario, Argentina, and the investigators try and find out what happened to this guy and discover his fate, if that's the case. And they have to race against time because they got to solve the case before they can find out what happens, if this might be an inside job with the police force and the government and going through there. And it's pretty well an investigative and procedural movie. I didn't find it particularly gripping. It's pretty by the numbers and down the line and straightforward, serious dialogue delivery and not real emotive acting. And I did not, as I say, find it gripping. And it went through a bit, and you go through things, and it can be a bit of a yawn as it develops very procedurally, as many of these things do. So this wouldn't be my top film necessarily from the Spanish Film Festival, but I think you'll find that it may be of interest to you from Argentina. So many films you can check out at the Spanish Film Festival. For example, History of the Occult, and this is an incredible horror thriller from Argentina and Mexico, and this is a pretty thought-provoking and incredible supernatural horror film with a few political undertones in this one, Historia del Oculto, and you might want to check this one out. And we have several films there. So once again, Spanish Film Festival screening this Thursday right through till July 5, and you can check that one out. If you want to find out more information, I always give the website. You can check it out at all one word, you know the routine, SpanishFilmFestival.com. All one word, no.au. And there you go. So lots of films, Hillary, and that's all I have time for today.
Thank you very much, Sig. Enjoy your Adelaide trip. And, yeah, you could possibly go back to bed. It's a little bit earlier than you expected to be. You're listening to Valley Lifestyles with Hillary, Tony, Sig, and this morning, Daryl. And we'll be on air at 8 a.m. next Sunday morning. Bye for now.